But today, we faced that fear. We broke the silence and we took back our voice. We looked our abuser in the eye. We are no longer afraid of you, Barry Bennell.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at some of the most heinous athletes in UK sports history. For our criteria, they don't have to be British, but they have to have been fairly involved in UK sports.
Despite years of hard-hitting government drink-driving campaigns, Luke McCormick was still prepared to risk driving when he knew he was over the limit.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 20. Kurt Zouma.
The level of violence that Kurt Zouma showed towards his cat was truly horrifying.
If you're a fan of Chelsea, you'll probably remember Zouma, who played for the team from 2014 to 2021. His career took a nosedive when, in 2022, footage was released of him mistreating his pet cat. Zouma apologised and tried to assure everyone that his cats were totally okay.
Social media, kicking his cat around the room, somebody close to him who was there has put it on social media, them laughing. They obviously find this is funny.
This was followed up with an RSPCA investigation, which ended up taking both of his cats away. At the time he was playing for West Ham, they decided to fine the player roughly £250,000, which was donated to animal charities. He was eventually charged with animal cruelty and sentenced to 180 hours of community service.
It's for the employer to discipline him, but I think our role is to say to the player the truth, which is this type of behavior is not acceptable. It's not acceptable at home, with or without camera.
Number 19. Luke McCormick.
Luke McCormick did what a third of men admit they've done, driven a car when they thought they were over the limit. Now he's destroyed a family he doesn't know and wrecked his own life.
Originally born in Coventry, this footballer went on to play for a variety of teams. The one he stayed with the longest was Plymouth Argyle. His career was forced to take a massive pause after driving dangerously while under the influence in 2008. This tragically led to the deaths of 2 children because of his irresponsible decisions.
What I find even more astonishing is that this drunk man was driving at over 100 on exactly the same stretch of the M6, where just 5 months before, 2 young boys were killed by professional footballer Luke McCormick.
For his evil decision, he was given a 7-year sentence. In the end, he got out early in 2012. After his release, he rejoined Plymouth Argyle and has since played for a handful of teams. Most recently, he plays for Plymouth Parkway.
Motorway cameras picked up McCormick swerving dangerously in his Range Rover. He was more than twice over the drink drive limit and speeding when he barged the boy's car off the road.
Number 18. Lee Hughes.
How long have I played football? How long will I? I played football for, he's talking about 20 years now.
Our next footballer has played for a ton of teams over the years. He was never an A-list player, but had potential during the 90s. He lost almost all his momentum in 2003 when he made the vile decision of driving while drunk. Someone was fatally wounded in the subsequent accident.
I'd say my role model when I was younger was definitely Alan Shearer. On and off the pitch he was a good professional, he scored loads of goals and that's what I wanted to be like.
Hughes initially denied it, claiming that his brakes had broken. An investigation showed that this was not the case. He'd also fled the scene of the crime, as he was worried that they'd find out how intoxicated he was. Hughes was given a 6-year prison sentence, which ended in 2007.
Alright Lee, 2-1 win today. You got yourself a goal. You must be really happy with the performance.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be a tough game. We knew they're going to be up there at the end of the season and that, and they're a strong team.
Number 17. David Jenkins.
So I went to my manufacturer guy and said, let's instantize the product. So this is in 1992. So what happened then was we were the first guys to instantize whey protein.
Originally born in Trinidad and Tobago, he was later educated in Edinburgh. In his younger years, he was an acclaimed sprinter, peaking during the 70s. Some stats even claim he's the best Scottish sprinter in history. Eventually, he turned to using performance-enhancing substances.
Jenkins, the greatest run of his life. Jenkins, who really has been under a cloud since he won the European Championship 3 years ago, A question mark against his competitive ability.
Not only this, but he got involved in manufacturing and selling them in the United States. Apparently, he and his partner were responsible for approximately 70% of all the variety of substances they manufactured in America. After being caught and sentenced, he decided to become an informant, which got him out of prison in less than a year. Since then, he's pursued some relatively successful business ventures.
By 1993, I brand it and launch it out in July of 1993.
Number 16. Derek Chisora.
Describe this. The British boxer Derek Chisora has been arrested by Munich police after threatening to shoot his fellow countryman David Haye.
Chisora has been a relatively well-known name within boxing for quite a while now. According to BoxRec, he's been in the world's top 10 heavyweights for over a decade. Unfortunately, he's unlikely to be a pleasant person.
Front, Haye.
I'm coming there and tell me my face. Let go, just stand behind me.
Haye has a bottle in his hand. You'll see the contents fly out when he punches Chisora.
We believe this because in 2010, he was found guilty of physically harming his partner. He found messages on her phone from another man, and his following actions got him a conviction.
Am I taking the main stage, yes or no? If I'm not, I want more money.
Chisora didn't spend any time in prison though for his evil deeds. Instead, he was forced to pay £1,500 in compensation, alongside doing 150 hours of community service. That's not his only conviction or controversy. He's also gotten into trouble for driving without a licence, amongst other things.
When the two men were finally separated, Chisora was heard making these threats.
I'm going to shoot David Haye. Hey, listen. Hey! Come on. I'm going to physically shoot David Haye.
Number 15. Phil Banning. Once upon a time, Banning was a Welsh national coach and an athlete. It later turned out that he had used his position as a coach to commit horrific acts. His targets were trainee girls, all far younger than him. This led to him eventually being charged with 18 counts of indecent assault. These were all done during the 70s and 80s, but they only became public knowledge in 2017. After putting him on trial, he pleaded guilty. Then he was given a 7.5-year jail sentence for his disgusting behaviour, alongside being put on the register for life. Number 14. Chris Mason.
You would think that Chris Mason kind of deserves to have that honour next to his name. Double top to get it.
Game,
and that is the best performance that we've ever seen from Chris Mason on TV statistically.
This darts player has gotten into a ton of trouble during his life. Mason was first convicted of assault in 1990, which landed him a 180-hour community service sentence. Another 2 convictions relating to bodily harm followed, but didn't land him serious jail time.
Fourth of match, yes, Taylor shakes hands with Mason. Mason and Taylor have words there. Something is awry, but not with Phil Taylor. He's in the quarterfinals now.
In 2003, he tried to burgle a scaffolder, seriously beating him in the process. This was all motivated by some drama regarding a hostile dog. This got him a 3-year sentence in 2003, but he only ended up serving for 1. Later on, in 2010, he got into trouble once again for benefits fraud, after deciding not to declare 45 grand worth of winnings.
He does. It's nasty and it's not nice, you know. And during the match, he's arguing with the crowd. It's not nice. Even at the end, then he acted blind at me when he shook my hand. It's not nice. I don't like it, and it's not no need for it.
Number 13, Joey Barton.
So if I'm somewhere and there was 4 really ugly girls, I'm thinking, well, she's not the worst, because that's all you are. That's all you are to us. That's all you are.
Next up is another footballer who was huge back in the 2000s. Between 2002 and 2007, he played for Manchester City, then switched to Newcastle United. Outside of his professional career, he's also had an extremely controversial life. In 2007, he assaulted a fellow teammate during training.
Well, the prosecution alleged that Barton grabbed his wife by the throat and kicked her in the head during a row outside a property in Kew. It's south-west London.
He also pleaded guilty to punching someone 20 times in Liverpool city centre the same year. Once in 2004, he horrifically used someone's eyeball to put out a cigar. In 2021, he was charged again, this time for assaulting his wife. In March 2025, he was finally found guilty after a lengthy trial. This barely scratches the surface of his problematic past.
I have to say, the ignorance just espoused
Well,
by
that's
this
all you
gentleman
are,
here,
though. That's
he
all you are.
basically fulfills the mission, doesn't he, that footballers' brains are in their feet. Well, because he's absolutely proved that to me tonight.
well,
what
maybe
an
they do.
offensive thing to say, Mr. Barton.
Number 12, Lee Murray.
In February 2006, Tunbridge in Kent became the scene of Britain's largest ever cash robbery.
This Moroccan-English martial arts expert had his MMA career ended early in 2005. This was because he got into a brawl at Lauren Pope's birthday party. He was brutally stabbed, nearly dying because of it. A year later, his controversies began. In 2006, he was arrested in Morocco after being involved in the 2006 Securitas depot robbery.
By the Friday, we really were looking at 4 key suspects. We had the names Lee Rusher, Jetmir Butch Papa. We were linked to Stuart Royal, and we also had the name Lee Murray.
In total, over £53 million were stolen during this incident. He was placed in prison, from which he tried to escape in 2009. This was foiled after another inmate realised what he was doing. In the end, they found him guilty, and in 2010 he was given a 10-year prison sentence, which was later brought up to 25 years.
Paul Allen and Lee Murray had fled to Morocco days after the robbery. Murray successfully claimed dual citizenship and couldn't be extradited back to the UK. He was later jailed in Morocco for 25 years for his part in the robbery.
Number 11, Barry Bennell.
Every summer, Barry Bennell would head abroad, often to America. He was fated there, a top British coach, a star maker.
There were enough people implicated in the 2016 football abuse scandal to make a list of only those individuals. Out of all of them, Barry Bennell is the most infamous.
Back then, Kean Brownlee was an aspiring young footballer. He recalls how Bennell used his popularity to exploit innocent teenagers in his team.
He used to be a coach, a position that he used to abuse tons of younger individuals. He was so horrific, in the court case, the judge called him the devil incarnate.
We were just watching 101 Great Goals and watching the 1986 World Cup tape, and Barry was in bed with the little English boy.
These all happened between 1979 and 1991, but it only came out in 2016. In the end, he was jailed for 31 years, starting in 2018. The old man didn't make it through a third of his sentence. In 2023, he died, aged 69, of cancer, while still in prison.
The man's a monster. The man deserves everything he gets.
Number 10, Ted Hankey. From being a championship-winning darts player to spending time in prison, Hankey had quite the fall from grace. In 2012, he, unfortunately, suffered a stroke on stage. From there, he struggled to make much of an income from darts, so by 2018, Hankey was declared bankrupt. In 2022, he pled guilty to assault on a woman above 16 but under the age of 18. The incident was all caught on camera. The judge slated the darts player for his entitlement. Hankey was sentenced to 2 years in prison and was placed on the offenders register for the next 10 years. His wife began proceedings to divorce him in the aftermath. Number 9, Naseem Hamed. In the 90s, Hamed was carrying the weight of UK boxing expectations on his shoulders. He was everywhere, appearing on international talk shows and boxing all over the globe. Yet, in 2002, he walked away from the sport. Then, in 2005, Hamed was involved in a horrific car crash caused by his poor driving. When illegally overtaking a car to impress his passenger at 90 miles per hour, Hamed collided head-on with Anthony Burgeon's vehicle. The impact caused Burgeon to break every major bone in his body. His wife also suffered injuries. Yet Hamed was uninjured. In 2006, he was sentenced to 15 months in prison and was banned from driving for 4 years. This incident also stripped him of his MBE. Number 8, Gavin Grant. Mostly playing in the lower division of England's Football League, Grant is a bit of a deep cut in the EFL's history. He played for such teams as Bradford City, Millwall and Wycombe Wanderers, but only made sparse appearances. In 2007, Grant was cleared of the 2005 fatal shooting of Jamal Moore as part of gang warfare, but in 2010 he found himself in court once again, this time alongside 2 associates for their involvement in fatally shooting Leon Labastide in 2004. Grant was found guilty and sentenced to a minimum of 25 years in prison. His legal team has attempted to appeal the decision, however, the judge dismissed it as the evidence remained compelling. Number 7. Steven van der Velde. Seen as a rising star in the beach volleyball scene, van der Velde was expected to represent the Netherlands in the Olympics at some point. However, it all came crashing down. In 2014, aged around 20 at the time, van der Velde had been in contact with a 12-year-old British girl he met on Facebook. Numerous times he travelled from Amsterdam. When the allegations came out, van der Velde was extradited from the Netherlands to face charges in the UK. In 2016, after pleading guilty to 3 counts of assault, he was sentenced to prison for 4 years. After serving his time, van der Velde controversially resumed his professional beach volleyball career for the Netherlands. Number 6. Marlon King. Playing international football for Jamaica and in the English Premier League, King was seemingly living the good life. But away from the pitch, he was a cauldron of anger that erupted several times, with many convictions, 3 of them leading to serving time in prison. In 2002, he was sentenced to 18 months inside for receiving stolen goods. In 2009, he received another 18 months for punching a woman in the face and was also put on the offenders register for 7 years. Then, in 2014, he received another 18 months for dangerous driving when he ate ice cream and weaved in and out of traffic, leading to a 3-car pileup. One of the other drivers was in hospital for 3 weeks. Number 5. Eric Simpson. Sports coaches are meant to be one of the most trusted figures in an athlete's life. They should be mentors helping their students achieve their full potential. But sometimes, coaches fail in this in a big way. Simpson was an athlete's coach in Fife, Scotland, who aided 15 British and 2 Paralympic champions. But between 1981 and 1999, he assaulted 5 girls. One of his victims, in 2018, saw a photo of Simpson posing with a young girl he was coaching. Looking to protect her and others, she went to the police and told them what he did. By 2021, Simpson was found guilty of 7 charges. He was sentenced to 8 years and placed on the offenders register indefinitely. Number 4. David Goodwillie. On top of representing Scotland internationally, Goodwillie played for some big clubs in the UK, including Blackburn Rovers, Aberdeen and Dundee United. But off the pitch was another matter. 3 times he's been convicted for fighting, but in 2011 he and David Robertson were accused of assaulting a woman. While the case didn't go to criminal court due to an apparent lack of evidence, the victim took civil action against the 2 in 2016. The judge stated they had assaulted her and ordered them both to pay her £100,000. Goodwillie continued his footballing career with Clyde. In 2022, he signed for Wraith Rovers, which caused massive controversy as the women's team and shirt sponsor author Val McDermid separated from Wraith. Number 3. Lauren Jeska. Jeska was enjoying her life as a fell runner by competing in major British races and becoming England's champion on 3 occasions as a trans woman. However, in 2015, UK Athletics required a blood test from her to test her hormone levels, as there was no documentation of her transition. Jeska feared this test would out her transgender status publicly, and her record would be revoked. In 2016, Jeska walked into the office of UK Athletics and stabbed HR manager and former rugby professional Ralph Nibbs in the neck and head. 2 other employees were also attacked. Whilst Nibbs survived, some of his nerves were severed, leading to multiple lifelong problems. In 2017, Jeska was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Number 2. Adam Johnson. Having represented England and played for clubs like Manchester City and Middlesbrough, Johnson was rebuilding his career at Sunderland. Yet in 2015, he was arrested for lewd activity with a 15-year-old girl. Johnson had spoken to the girl, who was a fan of Sunderland, through social media and had met her several times. In 2016, Johnson was found guilty of grooming and inappropriate activity. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison. In 2017, a video came out of Johnson claiming to fellow inmates he only received a long sentence for being a pro footballer. He also made gross comments about his victim. In 2019, he was released from prison after serving half his sentence. Number 1. Bertil Fox. For years, Fox, nicknamed Brutal, was the leading light in British bodybuilding. He regularly appeared in the biggest competitions in the world, but after retiring from the sport in 1992, his life unravelled rapidly. In 1997, whilst living in St Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean, Fox's former fiancée Leoka Brown and her mother Violet Brown were fatally shot by the ex-bodybuilder at Violet's shop. Fox was quickly arrested without bail. In 1998, he was found guilty of slaying the two women and was sentenced to be executed. However, after an appeal, the sentence was changed to 25 years in prison. In 2022, Fox was pardoned by the Governor-General of St Kitts and Nevis and was released from jail. Who do you think is the most unethical athlete in British sports history? Let us know in the comments below.